Hi everyone, welcome to the browser API series. And in the last video, we learned about web storage, local storage, session storage, and cookies, right? So today we are going to fetch data from the API using JavaScript powerful fetch API. And by the end of this video, you will be able to grab live data from any public API and display it dynamically on your web page. So let's dive into that. So let me create a file first. Let's say index.html, and we're going to write the HTML and the JavaScript in the single file because there will be the JavaScript file will not be too big, and we can easily handle that in a single file. But whenever you are going to write a website or any kind of the web things where you use JavaScript, I will suggest you please write the JavaScript in a separate file. So let's switch to the fetch API, right? So the question is, what is fetch API? So fetch API allow JavaScript to make network requests like get, post, put or delete, and retrieve data from server. And basically it return a promise so you can handle the response asynchronously, right? So let's see what we can get here. So let me write the HTML things first. Say HTML, say head, and we can say title will be fetch API, and then we are going to write body, and let's start here the script things, right? So we'll switch to the JavaScript first. So right, so let's start by fetching data from API. So we'll say fetch, and here we are going to write a URL, and then we'll say dot then, right? And we'll say response response this one, so response, and we'll say response dot JSON, right? JSON. And now we are going to print the data. So we'll say then we are going to say data that will console log, and this will be our. We can also write the error because suppose we have fetched that and is some error, so we can fetch that basically. So we'll say catch, and then we'll say error. So we'll say error, and move this. So we'll say error, and we can say console dot error, and we'll print this error. So whenever we are going to run this, if something happened, right? Some by thing like, but let me first put the API. This is the public API. You can use it for your for testing the fetch things, right? This I'll put it in a uh, in a in a in a link in a description below so that you can use it for your code testing, right? And here's so let me explain what is happening here. So the fetch basically send a get request to the URL. By default it send a get request to the URL. So what it will do, it will send a get request to this URL, and then it will get the response in the form of JSON, right? And it will pass the JSON data, and this line basically let you use the data, and this the catch, basically it handle any error, right? So let's run it and see what we get. So let me close this, and then and let me open the browser, right? Close this. See, we got the array of 10. We got all this data, right? And right now we are printing into the in a console. Now let's display the data in the browser, right? So for displaying the data in the browser, what we're going to do, we are going to create a UL, and we can pass the ID equals to that. We can say user list, right? So here we are going to print the, here basically what we are going to do here, we are going to display whatever the data we have fetched here. So we'll say constant user list equals to document dot get element by ID, and that will be user list, right? So this is our user list, and this is what we have fetched, right? Now we are going to modify this one. So organize this first, yeah. So what we're going to do, we are going to display the data inside the browser, right? In the browser basically. So till here we got our the data in a JSON format. Now we are going to say this user, because this is the user data, right? And what we are going to do inside this, we're going to delete this and we're going to add the bracket, right? This one. So what we'll do, we got the data user dot, we are going to run a loop that's here for each user dot for each, and then this is going to be a user, right? Each single user, and now we are going to create a li equals to document dot create element, right? And we are going to create the li element, right? Basically the list, table list basically. So we'll say li dot text content equals to the template literal, and we're going to say user dot name, and we can also use that I mean, yeah, we can also use that the user dot email. So we are going to print the user name and user email, right? And let's close this. Yeah. And what we're going to do, we are going to append this. So you say user list dot append child. We are going to append the li. Close this, right? So this is what we are going to, what we are doing here. We are basically let me switch to the browser first. See, we got it here, like, and basically I'll explain. So this is fetching the data, and this we are accessing the user list by the ID, right? We got the user list, and we got the inform of the JSON, right? And then we are accessing the data, and as we know, our data is in form of array. So we are running a loop, and we're creating an element, and in that li element we are appending the name and user email, and basically we are printing the user one by one, user name, email, and then we are appending into the li, and this is printing printing the entire data. We can see it here, right? That's how, like, you can dynamically add it into the list, and that's how basically you work with the API. So the most I can say the most I mean, a fetch API is very important. Suppose you have a data, I mean, you have stored a information that you wanted to show to the user, but you cannot write it dynamically, manually, right? In the browser, it can be changed anytime. So that's where you are going to use this. So that's where you are going to use this, and you can dynamically add, append, you can do anything. So see, Like, isn't cool, right? So the next thing we are going to use, we are going to use in the next video, we are going to learn about the async await. It's the cleaner way to write the fetch request. So if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you to the next one.